we're really cooking with gas now. It is my honor to introduce our other distinguished senator from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Senator Edward Markey.
Thank you so much. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, today Dr. King's words and deeds inspire us to lift our gaze upwards to see the constellation of possibilities in our own lives, in our own country at this time, and this world that we live in today. Just think, 50 years ago, Barack Obama would not be president of the United States if Martin Luther King had not lived. So as we gather to celebrate this great man, we must ask ourselves, what would Dr. King say about the state of our country these days? And what would he expect from all of us? What would Dr. King say about the income inequality in the United States that he fought so fearlessly to eradicate? Today, more than 46 million Americans are living in poverty. The average American household made less in 2012 than it did in 1989. 1 in 3 women in America live in poverty in our country today. On average, women still make 77 cents on every dollar that men earn. The average African American woman earns only 64 cents, and the average Latina only 55 cents compared to a white man. Consider this: closing the wage gap between men and women would cut the poverty rate in half for working women and their families and add nearly $500 billion to the national economy. Instead, over these last 20 years, the top 1% of wage earners in America have seen their income skyrocket by 86%. What would Dr. King say about those in Congress who vote to deny unemployment insurance even as they delay investing in new jobs? The unemployment rate is still about 7%, but it is 13% for African Americans. It is 11.5% for Hispanics. And what would Dr. King do to stop the billions of dollars in cuts to the food stamp program? Nearly 50 million Americans are in jeopardy of going to bed hungry tonight, and food insecurity is rampant. Nearly 16 million of those are children. What would Dr. King do about the other violations of human rights that exist in our society, the shameful health disparities that exist for people of color, the impact of gun violence that tears at the fabric of our communities, and the high rates of unemployment that continue to deprive many minority families from capturing their American dream? I will tell you what Dr. King would say. Dr. King would say to us, focus your energies on overcoming these challenges and confront the inequalities, the injustices that afflict our society, poverty and prejudice, disease and despair, because he said that our lives begin the day we become active in fighting for the causes of our time, and our lives begin to end the day we become silent about things that matter. I believe that what matters in America in 2014 are the same things that mattered when Dr. King was alive: a quality education for all of our children, a good job at a fair wage, affordable health care for everyone, respecting human rights, and building safe, strong communities. But these things that matter so much in life today are beyond the reach of many Americans and their families. While many people in our country have been trying to climb the ladder of success, no matter how hard they work, they are stuck in the same place. And in America today, it is important for us to make sure that we lift up, as Martin Luther King did, and to remember that he preached the Sermon on the Mount in the same way that Jesus did. He said, "Blessed are the poor," because we have a duty to make sure that Medicaid is not cut. We have to make sure that low-income energy assistance is not cut. We have to make sure that unemployment insurance is not cut. Blessed are the homeless, said Jesus and said Martin. We have to prevent Section 8 housing from being cut. Blessed are our veterans. They served us. We must serve them. We cannot cut programs that help those veterans. Blessed are those in prison. We must ensure that we help those in prison as well. Blessed are the elderly. They built our country. We cannot be cutting Medicare and Social Security. Blessed are the children. We must invest in our young people who are 28% of our population, but 100% of our future. We must ensure that we provide for all of those who provided for us. This is a great time, a great challenge for all of us. In past generations, the suffragettes rose up. In past generations, the freedom riders, they rose up. In past generations, those who opposed the war in Vietnam, they rose up. And we must now rise up. And we must make sure that we have a country which is fair. We have a country which is balanced. We must make sure that the rich do not take advantage of their privileged position. We must repeal Citizens United versus the Federal Election Commission to make sure that we are giving the rights to all Americans to have their voices heard. So, ladies and gentlemen, each of us can shape the course of history, consistent with the time-honored values that have animated civilization for generations, and that were epitomized in the life of Dr. Martin Luther King. He believed that the arc of the moral universe was long, but it bends towards justice. Our leadership now and in the future will make the difference. We must seize this moment. We are all connected. We are all responsible, guided by the universal values of justice and tolerance and liberty and equality. Let's work together to build a future that is more just, more fair, more healthy, more prosperous, and more peaceful for all of our people everywhere. I look forward to working with each and every one of you to advance this goal of Martin Luther King every day of our lives. Thank you all so much.
I know. Okay. All right. I think the preachers on the podium better watch their backs. All right. Yeah. Yeah. Y'all got a little competition. Okay. All right. And now.